Tyler Myers plays in game 1002 of his NHL career. Evgeni Malkin scores goal 501 of his career. What was the verdict in the wrap-up of the back-to-back for the Penguins? Let's talk about the Penguins and the Canucks right now on this episode of Penguins Postgame. Let's get it on. You're locked in to Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins play here on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Hey, Showtime scores! The bingo game is ready to roll. Welcome to Penguins Postgame. PPG for PGH. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Rick Tocchet versus Mike Sullivan. Game time, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific, 3 a.m. in the UK, and 4 a.m. in France. It's Rogers Arena, the venue for this game. It's the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Vancouver Canucks. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of today's recordings of Penguins postgame. This one is last night's game between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Vancouver Canucks. Rick Tocchet, the man of the hour for the Vancouver Canucks, would send to the ice in the goaltending tandem number 32, Kevin Lankinen. Kevin Lankinen would get the start on Saturday night for the Vancouver Canucks, backed up by AS number 31, Arturis Solvis. Sorry about that if I pronounced the name wrong. I'll just go with AS. And they would face Mike Sullivan, who is going with the goaltending tandem of, for this game, for the Penguins, Joel Blomqvist got the start in the game against the Oilers. In this game, the Penguins go to Alex Nedeljkovic. And it would be 32 versus 39 for this game. Breaking down all the game action in just a little bit. But before we do, I guess you could say that game was a little bit better than what happened on Friday night, Penguin fans. Yes, we lost the game. And yes, we lost the road trip. We lost to Winnipeg. We lost to Calgary in a shootout. We lost to Edmonton the other night on Friday night. And last night, the game we're recording now, or recapping now, we lost to the Vancouver Canucks. And we lost 4-3 to the Canucks. Wow. At least we scored goals in this game. Unlike Friday night, where we didn't score any goals at all. None. All the same, a Western road trip, the Penguins go 0-3-1 on the Western Canada road trip. And with that being said, let's get into it. So, before we jump into the period by period summary, which is coming up after a quick commercial break, we are going to let you guys in on our officials for this game and our scratches. For the Vancouver Canucks, they are scratching for this game Derek Forbort, Noah Juselin, and Niles Amen. If I pronounced anyone's name wrong, I apologize. For the Penguins, scratched in this game, minus Tristan Jarry, there would be no Ryan Shea once again. No Ryan Shea. And no Cody Glass in this game. All right. Your officials before we take our first break. It's Wes McCauley as one of the referees. Graham Skittler also. Graham S, I'll say. Graham S, I will say. Were the referees. The linesmen, Ryan Gippens and Kiel Murchison. And KM. I'll just say KM. This game was the wrap up of Saturday night hockey night in Canada. It can also be seen locally in Pittsburgh on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. And in Canada, it could be seen on City TV as well as CPC, CBC, excuse me, not CPC, CBC, and Sportsnet. The short form for Sportsnet is SN. And of course, for Sportsnet Pittsburgh, it is SN-PIT. Once again, that's SN-PIT. All right. With that all being said, the venue was Rogers Arena, and the game itself started at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific, 3 a.m. in the UK, and 4 a.m. France time. All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, the nitty-gritty. the period-by-period summary. Did we get overtime in this one? Did we get scores and a penalty in the first period of this one? The answers to come, and much more to come, here on Penguins Postgame, part of Penguins Wednesday Hockey, on the ice and behind the benches, as we roll on with Penguins Postgame, Penguins and Canucks. We'll be back in just a moment.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo, two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Welcome back to Penguins Postgame here. My name is Scott McGregor. It's time for the nitty-gritty. It's time for the nitty-gritty. It is time to get down to business and recap last night's 4-3 win for the Canucks over the Penguins. And in this one, we do get some scoring as the former Canuck. Anthony Beauvillier gets the first goal of the game for the Penguins, and the Penguins are able to take charge of the lead right from the get-go. That's number 72, Anthony Beauvillier. His third assist of the season. Third goal of the season, I should say. Assisted by Marcus Pettersson. His fourth assist of the season. And by Evgeni Malkin. Evgeni Malkin now has points in many different games that he's played in this season. And Malkin did get the game's third goal for the Penguins, but I think he might have gotten hurt during that play. Before he got to that goal point, he picks up assist number 10 on the season as the Penguins go out in front at 7 minutes and 48 seconds. The Penguins go out in front 1-0. And the penalties to be called in the game's first period. Michael Bunting went for roughing. Time of the penalty, 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes, so the same number as what he was being called for 2 minutes as a minor. And that's number 8 with the penalty for Pittsburgh for roughing. 2 minutes for roughing at 2 minutes into the game. That is number 57, the man of the hour, Tyler Myers, who before the Penguins came to Rogers Arena to play the Vancouver Canucks. The man of the hour, Tyler Myers, had played in 1,000 career NHL games prior to this matchup, playing in game 1001 of his NHL career before playing in game 1002 against the Penguins of his NHL career. He is penalized in this one, 2 minutes for high sticking, and that came at 7 minutes and 59 seconds in. This, of course, is when the Penguins have a 1-0 lead, and the guy who got the game's first goal draws the penalty to Tyler Myers. But then moments later, Michael Bunting would sit for the second time in the game. He would sit in the penalty box for the second time in the game. And this time, Michael Bunting has to sit for 4 minutes. It's a double minor for Michael Bunting. It's a high-sticking double minor for Michael Bunting, and Bunting is going to have to sit this one out for 4 minutes, giving the Vancouver Canucks as much time as possible on the power play to score as many goals as they can. Time of the penalty, 16 minutes, 23 seconds. For the penalty to Tyler Myers, that was at 7 minutes and 59 seconds. And the penalty to Michael Bunting, the first one that Bunting would take, is at 2 minutes into the first period. After the first 20 shots on goal by period, 12 for the Canucks and 7 for the Penguins, off we go to the second period, where the Penguins once again jump the gun and score. This one is a Brian Rust goal, not a power play goal, but it did get Penguin fans who, as you're listening to this, I know it's probably going to be coming out by the time you listen to this, and the deal's probably going to be over, but at the time of our recording, I hope you are enjoying your free Big Macs as well as your free half-off Rusty Shakes. Though it does hurt me to inform you that I don't know the severity of Brian Rust injury, but Brian Rust was injured and did not return to the hockey game during the end of the game. He did not return to the hockey game. So, unfortunately, I don't have a lot more on the Brian Rust injury, but we do know that Rust did not return to the game. But in the second period, before he did get hurt, whenever that was, he scored his third goal of the season, with Anthony Beauvillier getting his first assist of the game and first of the season. Evgeni Malkin, second assist of the night, 11th of the season for Evgeni Malkin. Time of the goal, 1 minute 56. 1 minute and 56 seconds in, and the Penguins out on top 2-0. Very quickly. There was nothing really to show for in the penalty summary in the second period, but very quickly, we're talking about a minute 5. In a minute 5, the Canucks would erase a 2-0 deficit that the Penguins put them under with a goal from, first it was Elias Pettersson, his first goal of the season, assisted by Connor Garland. That's Garland's 4th assist of the season. Tyler Myers getting in on the action, his 2nd assist of the season, 1st of the game, and only assist of the game. But they wouldn't stop there. Now it's 2-1 Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Next guy up, of course, time of the goal for Elias Pettersson at 4:06, 4 minutes and 6 seconds. That made it 2-1 Pittsburgh. But literally a few seconds later, number 44, Kiefer Sherwood, his 2nd goal of the season, assisted by the former Penguin, Teddy Bluger. Bluger's 3rd assist of the season. And number 73, Vincent Desharnais. Vincent Desharnais' 1st assist of the season for him. And that quickly knots things up at 2. It's now Penguins 2, Canucks 2. So faster than you could skin a rabbit, 2 quick goals by the Canucks in the second period have this game tied at 2, but they weren't done there. Later in the second period, after the 4-minute and 49-second goal by Kiefer Sherwood, JT Miller right after the Kiefer Sherwood goal, JT Miller begins a brand new hockey game. It's a brand new ball game, as they would say in baseball terms, as JT Miller gives the Canucks their first lead of the game with his 4th goal of the season, assisted by Brock Besser, I should say. Brock Besser. You know what? It's okay. Sorry about that, Brock, if I pronounce your last name wrong. But that's his 3rd assist of the season. And 5 minutes and 11 seconds in to the second period, and the Canucks have grabbed the lead 3-2. So they erase a 2-0 deficit in a minute and 5 seconds, while in the process taking the lead. And they would go up by 2 on this goal by his 1st of the season and 1st in his NHL career, Arash Baines. Arash Baines. Mr. Baines, if I pronounce your first name wrong, I apologize. But congratulations to you, sir, on your first career NHL goal. Congratulations to you, sir, on your first career NHL goal. And cheers to the many more that come. This makes it 4-2. This makes it 4-2. Canucks 4, Penguins 2. It's the Canucks 4, the Penguins 2. Daniel Sprong on the assist. His first of the season. Speaking of first. And 9 minutes and 58 seconds. That's the time of the goal. Nothing to speak of penalty-wise. So after 40, what was a 2-0 lead early on in the second period became a 4-2 lead for the Vancouver Canucks. What was a 2-0 lead for the Pittsburgh Penguins early on in the second period, it became a 4-2 lead for the Canucks after 40 minutes, and the Vancouver Canucks are on top 4-3 in 4-2, I should say, in the end of the first 40 minutes of play. Off to the third we go. Before we get to the third, scoring and penalties. Before we get there, your tallies after the period in the shot. 16 for the Canucks and 5 for the Penguins. All right, to the third we go. And before we get a goal, we get a penalty. This one going to number 91, Daniel Sprong, who had the assist on the Irish deep on the Arsh Deep Baines goal, his first goal of on the ADB on the AD Baines goal. First goal of his career for Arsh Deep Baines. And again, if I pronounce the name wrong, I apologize. But anyways, Daniel Sprong is going to go for 2 minutes for holding the stick as Ryan Graves draws the final penalty of the night. This would be to Daniel Sprong, 2 minutes for holding the stick, 9 minutes and 56 seconds into the third. And later on, after the Penguins are unable to hit Pater and score a power play goal, which is in short a PPG for PGH. Well, let's just say, let us just say that let us just say that the Penguins do score a goal, and this is 501 for the career of Evgeni Malkin, his third goal of the season, and number 501 of his career. Congratulations to you, Gino, on your 501 goal of your career and your third goal of the season. Ricard Raquel getting in on the assist here, his second of the season. And Matt Grzelcyk also on the assist, his fourth of the season. At 13 minutes and 21 seconds. 13 minutes and 22, excuse me, is what it says on the NHL app. All right, so 13 minutes and 22 seconds. All the same, the Canucks hang on and beat the Penguins 4-3 on Tyler Myers' 1000th NHL career game celebration night at Rogers Arena. That's right, they celebrated Tyler Myers' 1000th NHL career game last night at Rogers Arena when the Penguins battled the Canucks at Rogers Arena. Rick Tocchet and Mike Sullivan are your head coaches. So there we have it. Your period by period summary before we take a break. Let's go into my play of the game. And my play of the game is going to go to... It's going to go to Keither Sherwood. It's going to go to the Vancouver Canucks, Keither Sherwood. Really nice goal and a really nice response by the Vancouver Canucks. Down 2 goals. You need 2 quick ones. I thought for sure if the Penguins were going to be able to come back down 1, it was either going to be Evgeni Malkin or it was going to be Sidney Crosby. It was neither. Well, to be honest, Malkin did score in this game, but he didn't score the game tire until after the Penguins. The game tire until after the game tying goal, I'll say, until after JT Miller and Arash Deep Baines hit Pater with their 2 goals. For Baines, his first goal of the season and of his career. And JT Miller, his 4th of the season. Wow. Really nice. And I also like the backhand by Evgeni Malkin. Nice little backhand. Put it in behind Kevin Lankinen. And wow. For the Penguins to come that close, Penguin fans, for the Penguins to come that close to doing exactly what Vancouver did to them in the second period in the regulation time period, to somehow say, There's no way we're losing our road trip here in Western Canada. For them to come out and do that, oh my God. You got to give the Penguins credit where the credit is due. And a really nice goal by Evgeni Malkin to make sure the Penguins don't lose by 2. Not to say it's better than losing by 4 or by 6, which I'm really glad during this Western road trip. I'm really glad during this Western road trip in Canada, the Penguins, I'm really glad that the Penguins did not, and I repeat, did not get shut out 4-0 in Vancouver. Otherwise, it would have been back to back to back. Back to back, I should say. Times where the Penguins fall 4-0 in their Western Canada road trip. All right, with that being said, the Bills game is underway. That is where we'll be heading after we wrap up this show. And I cannot wait to record that show when we get ready for it. With that all being said, whenever these recordings come out, we hope that you will join us. And our Discord server is open right now for you guys to send in your game puck of the game, your play of the game, your shake of the game, and your 3 stars, which we'll get to on the other side of this break. When we come back, 3 stars, the remainder of the game totals, plus a busy Saturday night in the NHL, and of course, we'll reiterate what happened at the end of the third period, as the Penguins scored 12 shots on goal. The Canucks with 6 goals. 6 shots on goal, excuse me. What did it add up to? Stick around to find out. Penguin postgame, Penguins and Canucks. Back in a moment. Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches. Welcome back to Penguins postgame. Penguins and the Canucks. The Penguins were outshot by the Canucks as we begin with our game stats. The Penguins were outshot by the Canucks by 10 shots on goal. 34-24 was the final tally. In a game that saw 56 face-offs, the Vancouver Canucks winning 57.1% of their face-offs, of the face-offs, I should say. Winning 32 out of 56. The Penguins winning 42.9% of their face-off. They won 24 out of the 56. They won 24 out of the 56 face-offs for this game. This game was a penalty kill bonanza, as the penalty kill for Pittsburgh, a perfect 3 for 3. And the penalty kill for Vancouver, also a perfect 3 for 3. Oh, sorry, a perfect 2 for 2, excuse me. The Penguins only had 2 opportunities on the power play and did not connect on any of them. So for the Vancouver Canucks, the penalty kill was a perfect 2 for 2. The Penguins penalty kill, a perfect 3 for 3. The Vancouver Canucks power play, 0 for 3 on the night. And the Penguins 0 for 2 on the power play. Penguins spent 6 minutes in the penalty box in this game. The Vancouver Canucks spent 4 minutes in the penalty box. They finished the game with 24 hits to Pittsburgh's 16 hits. Pittsburgh finished with 13 blocked shots in this game. The Canucks finished with 9 blocked shots. Canucks finished with 13 giveaways and 7 takeaways. The Penguins finished with 14 giveaways and 4 takeaways in this game. Alrighty. So there you have it. There's your game stats. We did the play of the game after the period by period summary was about to wrap up. So now it's time for your 3 stars of the game, brought to you by, if we had this sponsor, we don't have it sponsored, but if it was sponsored, and it was sponsored by what the radio network for the Penguins is sponsored by, the 3 stars of the game are sponsored by your neighborhood Ford stores in Pittsburgh. Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs are the official vehicles of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Ford F-150 trucks are the official trucks of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We are not sponsored by any of that as of right now, but that could be coming down the road. We shall see. We shall see. But here we go with our 3rd star of the game. And that's the Vancouver, goaltender in Kevin Lankinen. Gave up 3 goals against, made a save percentage of .875. And your 2nd star, Mr. 501, Evgeni Malkin, is your 2nd star of the game. 2 assists, 1 goal. Goal number 501 of his career. 501 of Gino's career. That was the only goal that he scored. And he got 3 points in this game. And the 1st star, well deserved. No assists, 1 point in the game. It was his first career NHL goal. It's A.D. Baines. A.D. Baines. Congratulations once again to Arash Deep Baines. And Evgeni Malkin, he's got the second star. Kevin Lankinen is your third star. Evgeni Malkin, your second star, and your first star, Ashdeep Bains, Arashdeep Bains, Evgeni Malkin, Evgeni Malkin, and Kevin Lankinen. All right. With that all being said, those are your 3 stars. Your game stats are done. We're going to save the shake of the game and the game pucks of the game for the 30-second timeout coming up in a little bit. But first, before we take a break, now that we've done the 3 stars and the game stats, let's take a look at our action from Saturday night. In a busy Saturday night, the Minnesota Wild, who the Penguins will face on Tuesday night, fell to the Philadelphia Flyers 7-5. It was a Boston Bruins Toronto Maple Leaf classic down at the Garden, as the Boston Bruins rely on Brad Marchand to win the game. It's Brad Marchand to win the game in overtime. 4-3, the Bruins beat the Maple Leafs in overtime. Elsewhere, the Seattle Kraken score 1 goal to avoid being shut out, but they fall and fail to defend the deep as the Hurricanes defeat the Kraken 4-1 in Seattle. The Buffalo Sabres pick up a 5-3 victory over the Detroit Red Wings, with the former Penguin Jason Zucker scoring for the Buffalo Sabres. The Utah Hockey Club get it close, but they fall 3-2 to the Los Angeles Kings. The St. Louis Blues fall to the Montreal Canadiens 5-2, excuse me. The New York Rangers defeat the Anaheim Ducks 2-1 at Madison Square Garden. It was a close one, but the Jets remain perfect. They are now 9-0. They are still undefeated as they beat the Calgary Flames 5-3. The defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers picking up a W against the New York Islanders at 6-3. In overtime, the Nashville Predators defeat the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-3 in Nashville. In Dallas, the Dallas Stars defeat Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks 4-2. And the Vegas Golden Knights score a touchdown and defeat the San Jose Sharks 7-3. Also, a final. The Washington Capitals fall to the Tampa Bay Lightning at Amalie Arena, as they finally play at Amalie Arena The Tampa Bay Lightning finally play at Amalie Arena. No question, they probably could have done that when they played against the Leafs. But anyways, they defeat the Capitals 3-0. And there you have it. There are your final scores, not including the Penguins. 4-3 losers to the Vancouver Canucks. After the 30-second timeout, the shake of the game. After the 30 seconds timeout, which is next, we are going to go with the shake of the game and the game pucks of the game. And right off the jump, as we prepare to wrap this one up, we are going to go to the next 5 for Vancouver and the next 5 for the Penguins. So don't you dare go anywhere. We'll be right back with the next 5 for the Penguins, the next 5 for the Canucks, and, of course, we'll wrap it up with the shake of the game and game puck of the game as well. Perhaps we'll get into our attendance record. But once again, a reminder that Bills postgame is coming your way after Seahawks and Bills. So be sure to stick with us for that, Bills Mafia. All right. Back in 30 to wrap up Penguins versus Canucks. Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners.
Looking for conversations on books and more, as well as tutorials on using your favorite devices and applications? You've come to the right place. Join us weekly on Spicy Techie, where Ali and Sienna provide insightful conversations as well as useful tips and tricks to help you along on your technological journey. To learn more, tune into the show and like the Spicy Techie Facebook page. Search for Spicy Techie.
Welcome back for the final 15 minutes of Penguins postgame. Welcome back, everybody, to the show. Penguins postgame, Penguins and the Canucks. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here today on the show. We'd love it if you would take a second to rate, review, and share the podcast. that pretty much will do it for Pittsburgh Penguins hockey in this game. But before we go, and before we go anywhere here on Penguins postgame show, here on the Penguins postgame show, it's time for the shake of the game. That, of course, is inspired by Jake Gensel's Jake Shakes, which every time Jake Gensel scored as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins, you got half off Jake Shakes at the Milkshake Factory the next day. Unfortunately, he is no longer a Pittsburgh Penguin. So, with that all being said, he is now, yes, he is now a Tampa Bay Lightning. No worries. No worries. The Penguins were able to find Brian Rust, who was willing to do this. And so now, because he scored in today's Vancouver game that happened last night, you got free Big Mac at your local McDonald's in Pittsburgh. I hope you're enjoying those. Plus, you got half off Rusty Shake. You got half off the Rusty Shake. Alrighty. So with that all being said, let's get into it, shall we? Oh, before we do, what is next for the Pittsburgh Penguins? Well, here we go. For the Pittsburgh Penguins, excuse me. It's a date with 29. It's a date with the flower, number 29, Marc-Andre Fleury. And the Pittsburgh Penguins will be taking on the Minnesota Wild when Marc-Andre Fleury comes to town on Tuesday night. Then on the spookiest night of the year, Thursday, October 31st, 2024. Let's hope the Anaheim Ducks and the Pittsburgh Penguins aren't afraid of any ghosts, because it's a Halloween hockey night in Pittsburgh as the Penguins go head-to-head with the Anaheim Ducks. Then the Montreal Canadiens are in town on Saturday, November 2nd. On Tuesday, November the 5th, the Penguins will be battling it out with the New York Islanders. On Thursday, they go head-to-head with the Carolina Hurricanes to kick off a back-to-back that will feature the Carolina Hurricanes Thursday night on November the 7th. And then on November 8th, they are hitting Washington to play the Capitals. But the next 5 for the Penguins are home to the Wild on Tuesday night, home to the Ducks on Halloween night, that's Thursday night, this Thursday, home to the Montreal Canadiens on Saturday, at the New York Islanders on Tuesday, November 5th. That's next Tuesday. And at the Carolina Hurricanes next Thursday, November 7th. All right. The Vancouver Canucks, we're going to briefly go over quickly so that we can get into it. It does look like we are going to run out of time for the game puck of the game. So we're going to roll in with the next 5 of the Vancouver Canucks. And then we're going to roll into the shake of the game. All right. So with that all being said, let's roll in. Up next for the Vancouver Canucks, it's a showdown in Vancouver between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vancouver Canucks. That's on Monday night. That's tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet Pacific. And of course, you can catch it wherever you find it on your streaming services. Make sure that they are free so that you're able to check them out. With that all being said, moving along, the Canucks will wrap up their homestand that they're on currently with the New Jersey Devils coming into town on Wednesday, October 30th. Then they're in action on Saturday on Hockey Night in Canada, as they will play on November the 2nd on Saturday night. They'll play from the Shark Tank against the Sharks in the Shark Tank in San Jose. Then they are at the Duck on Tuesday, November the 5th, and Thursday, November 7th. They go head-to-head with the Los Angeles Kings. So the next 5 for the Vancouver Canucks. At home Carolina, home against Carolina on Monday, home to the Devils Wednesday night, at the San Jose Sharks this coming Saturday night. Next Tuesday night, they're in Anaheim to play the Anaheim Ducks. And next Thursday, November 7th, they go head-to-head with the LA Kings from Los Angeles. So they'll play at home 2 nights, Monday and Wednesday night. Then they're on the road in their next 3 of their 5 games in the Shark Tank, in Anaheim, and in Los Angeles. Alrighty. Without wasting any more time, we got about 5 minutes left. We got about actually 6 minutes left, considering we haven't hit the 5-minute mark yet. So rolling along here, let's go to the shake of the game. And for the Penguins, they lost this game, so we are going to give out 2 shake of the games. The first is going to be a pick-me-up, and that is going to go to... That is going to go to Brian Rust. Although he did score a goal in this game, I think he could have done better, and I really hope he's all right. We also know from the Friday game that Cody Glass did not return to that game, and he was out with an illness, so he's battling an illness. He also did not play against the Canucks. That's why he was a scratch. So we are going to give our pick-me-up to Brian Rust, who played in this game, did not play in the third period. He was hurt and would not return. We don't have a lot of information on that. But you know what? That's okay. I'm sure we'll get some information as we get along. Anyways, our shake of the game is going to go to Alex Nedeljkovic. 30 saves on 34 shots, allowed 4 goals. They were all even strength goals. But does make some good saves, 30 of them. And with that, we move along to the Canucks. The Canucks are going to get, well, for this one, their pick-me-up shake of the game is going to go to their goaltender, Kevin Lankinen. Made 21 stops on 24 shots. 24 shots for Kevin Lankinen. He made 21 saves, gave up 3 goals, all of them at even strength. And our shake of the game, I'm feeling kind of generous here. It's going to go to first NHL career goal of his NHL career. It's going to go to Irish Deep Baines. It's going to go to Irish Deep Baines. It's going to go to Irish Deep Baines. It's going to go to A Deep Bane. All right, whatever. It's going to go to ADB. ADB. It's going to go to ADB. All right, with that all being said, that'll wrap it up here. We're down to the final 3 minutes of the program here. So the Penguins lose their Western Canadian road trip. They lose in a shootout to the Calgary Flames. In regulation to the unbeatable Winnipeg Jets. They were shut out on Friday night 4-0 to the Edmonton Oilers. And on Saturday night, they fell 4-3 to the Vancouver Canucks. Once again, the officials for this game, Wes McCauley, Graham Skittler, Ryan Gippets, KM. Head coaches, Rick Tocchet and Mike Sullivan. We'll do it all again from Pittsburgh in a few moments' time next month on November the 27th. Mark your calendars, 7:30 p.m. puck drop. I look forward to bringing that game to you as best I can. We're down to the final seconds of the show. So unfortunately, we don't have time to put out our attendance record. So with that all being said, my name is Scott McGregor, and you've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey here on Sports for Beginners, the podcast. You have just listened to another edition of Penguins hockey, Penguins postgame. We will catch you on the flip side. And remember, Penguins fans, as always, let's go Pens. I look forward to catching up with you again real soon. But until that time, let's go Pens. And remember, I am Scott McGregor, and this is Penguins postgame. We will talk to you next time. Pens in the Wild next time on Penguins postgame. Don't you dare miss it. I'm out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. You've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners or visit the official Sports for Beginners podcast website. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned. And remember that it is not goodbye, it is until next time. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Thank you so much for checking in to Penguins postgame this season, Penguins fans. Your host of the Sports for Beginners podcast, Scott McGregor. Here, I just wanted to let you guys know that it brings me great joy to bring you a show like the one we brought you last year. And it brings me even more joy with everything that has come out of it as well. As we try to navigate through quite a year with milestone after milestone in the month of October and the month of September. As mentioned again, my name is Scott McGregor, but if you have any questions, any concerns, any content you want aired on the program, please send me an email at sportsforbeginnerspodcast 8231 at gmail.com. Once again, that's Sports for Beginners podcast 8231 at gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast and for listening to this episode of Penguins Postgame. We will see you next time right here on Sports for Beginners. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.